Hey guys, we're going back to Mythic Legion's Covenant of Shadow today, taking a look at a figure that I have wanted for quite a while, and I finally got my hands on him. So today we're taking a look at the original vampire in the line. We've got Baron of Volligar here. So he comes on that standard Legion's resealable packaging. You can see him there in the big window. We've got a bio and a product shop for this guy on the side, and then the back of the box has that standard Legion's backer artwork along with a write-up for Mythos. So let's do it. Let's pull him out and take a look. Alright guys, here he is out of the package. A figure that I've wanted to get a hold of for a while, the Baron Volligar figure from Mythic Legions, and just like the recent Gorgo Aetherblade figure that I looked at, this is an older figure that I went after to try to get a hold of just because, frankly, I love the look of this guy. That's what it comes down to with this figure, is how he looks. I just love everything about him. I love the little backstory we've got for this guy, being the originating full pure-blood vampire, being Lucretia's father from Advent of Decay. So there's a lot of cool stuff going on here, especially if you get into what little bits of lore we have with Mythic Legions. So let's just jump right in, take a look, and see exactly how this guy moves around. So I don't think we're going to be surprised. After so many Mythic Legions, it's really hard to be. So we've got rotating head, swivel around. The gorget will, of course, get in the way if you, move him enough, but you can pop that thing out if you wanted. He can look up, he can look down, bobble side to side. Arms go out, spin around. We've got rotation at the elbow, single jointed hinge, gives you about 90. Rotation at the forearm, rotation at the wrist, and then we've got a hinge. He has got a ball peg in the waist because it's one of the older figures. There's no torso articulation with this more beefy buck. We have got twist, bobble side to side, back and forth. Legs go out, kick forward, kick back, thigh cuts. We've got a single jointed knee with rotation, and then we've got rotation, rocker, and hinges down at those ankles. So it is standard boilerplate Mythic Legions articulation, but I think it's more than enough for this guy. As I've already said, and is often the case with this line though, this figure for me comes down to its look and just the design around this guy. So for the most part, you have kind of just a standard dark knight almost, which honestly works just fine. If that's what you wanted, you kind of got one here. But at the same time, this guy is supposed to be the originating pure-blood vampire. He doesn't really look like a vampire, but I could sort of see, some sort of vampiric touches here and there just with his armor design. And for some reason, black and purple to me definitely works as far as vampires go, so we've got that going as well. So we have a number of parts here that, we've seen plenty of times at this point in a configuration that we've seen before. I just, in general, like this design. It is the standard Mythic Legions level of quality, sculpt, paint, all the details are there, everything you want to find. I just really dig everything about the look on this guy, though. I love the more menacing type of plate armor that we have for the forearms and for the shins and the boots down here. I just love this particular design. I'm a fan on those when it comes to just about every figure that has them. And then, of course, we have one of the torso bucks that is a tabard buck. So it's got a tabard on it rather than being just uncovered armor. He's got a suit of armor on under there, but he's covered it with the faction tabard. So you've got the purple emblem on his chest that runs down to the skirt piece here, to the sash piece that hangs down below the waistline. This is a rubbery plastic, like is always the case, and then you've got some rubbery plastic plate armor on the side. He does have a gorget around his neck. This guy is, again, it's rubbery plastic just like the rest of these more flimsy pieces. You could pop it out if you want. It actually just pegs into the back of the head. So if you didn't want that there, maybe reduce the menacing level on him for some reason, you do have that option. As far as the head goes, we have got one of the standard bucket helmets for a knight. And for some reason, I think this works really, really well. It just flows with this design. Of course, a lot of that comes down to the color scheme with the matte black finish, and then, of course, that kind of gunmetal color. And then you've got one of the little ornamentations at the top. You could pop this out if you wanted to, this little dragon guy that's up here. It's kind of in a lavender color scheme. It's not the same purple as the emblem on the chest. It's actually a light shade of purple that actually blends into some of the piping on the thighs down here, and then you've got some on the waistline around here on his plate armor on the side. So this helps to kind of flow with the rest of the design. So you do have, a few options if you want to change up a few small details about this guy, but I just think he looks fantastic the way he is. Really menacing, really beefy. He doesn't really give off the vampire vibe too much, but this is the mythos of this particular character. He is a vampire that happens to be covered in an incredibly menacing set of armor, and I, for one, am fully on board with that. Now, as far as accessories goes, he's got a pretty decent spread. It's nothing too crazy, but he does have one of the more unique accessories in the line, something that not too many characters actually come with. Of course, he does have pauldrons, so of course that's pretty standard, but he comes with the ones that I really like the most. These are the humongous, big, plated, menacing pauldrons, and obviously for a character of this type, it definitely fits. More of that black and silver color scheme just goes very well, makes him more hulking, makes his armor flow a little bit better. So I would highly encourage you to use them. They're going to stay on my figure pretty much at all times. They don't really impede movement as we've seen with most others. They will move to allow him to get into some dynamic poses. Now, as far as actual accessories go, quote-unquote weaponry and stuff, he does of course come with a strap, but we do have a sword. We've got one of the standard long swords in the line, so this guy's just a dark, kind of a dark silver blade with a black handle. It's one of the standard designs. We see that a lot. We have got one of the shields here, and this is one of the faction shields, so it's the emblem for the Aletheus Brood. You know, the same thing that he wears on his tabard there, the same thing that we've got on our battle standard there. So we've got that guy, and then, you know, this is the big one. So we've got one of the more unique accessories in the line. Some characters come with these. There was a pack full of them a while back. So we've got the faction standard here, which is pretty solid. I mean, it comes in multiple pieces. You do have to put it together because it is massive. This thing is huge. I mean, it's almost twice the height of the character itself. I don't usually use these too much because frankly they're just really big, but I really dig the idea behind them. So we've got the faction emblem there. We've got the same kind of typical design we see at the top on these guys. And then this one actually has, you know, wing or fin attachments on there. So you could, if you wanted to, you could pop these out and then put them on a character's helmet if you wanted to, because it's that same style of fin wing that we see on a lot of other figures' helmets. You can't use it on the Baron here, but you could use it on other figures or just leave them on because I think it looks pretty solid together this way. So at the end of the day, this figure is basically everything I wanted him to be. He's hulking, he's menacing, he's got a really fantastic silver, black, purple color scheme. It's just a fun figure. He looks great. I don't have any issues with him. He has all the sculpt, the paint detail that you would expect to find, all the articulation we know about this line, and then he comes with a solid array of accessories, not to mention the fact that he has the massive battle standard that is kind of a rarity included with figures, so it's nice to get one of these with a figure. All around, he's just a solid package. I think it's a great addition to the line. He is harder to find these days. He's certainly not one you can just rush out and buy, but if you really want him, I would suggest tracking him down. We don't know if he's ever going to get a reissue or not, so you might want to get him sooner rather than later, and he's just a fun figure. You really can't go wrong with this guy. So that's going to do it for the Mythic Legions Baron Volligar figure. Let me know what you guys think. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and share, and until next time.